This is the fourth of the conservation videos, conservation of energy videos, to the fifth one if you've been watching the videos of roller coasters. And we're going to watch another video of a roller coaster. And when you watch that video, and I'm going to tell you what I want you to look for, and then I'm going to come back in the second part of this video, and we're going to talk about these things. You're going to go to the next video, which is on riding a roller coaster again, and you're going to look for this. Where is the potential energy the highest? Where is the kinetic energy the highest? Is the potential energy ever zero in this ride, and is the kinetic energy ever zero? So on this one, you're actually looking at the video from a Chinese roller coaster during its testing phase, so there are no people on it. It's just going to be testing dummies. So go watch that video, then it's next one in this playlist, and then come back here. Okay, so you should have just watched the video of the Chinese wooden roller coaster. And so let's discuss these things. Where is the potential energy the highest? And of course, the potential energy is the highest whenever the train is at its highest point, which has to be at the top of the first hill. And where is the kinetic energy the highest? And that's a little trickier because the kinetic energy will be the highest at whatever the lowest point on the route of the on the track, I guess, of the roller coaster would be, which could be the first hill or it could be someplace else later on. Is potential energy ever zero? Well, let's consider the situation in which potential energy would be zero would be when it is at the lowest level. And so if it's ever back to the place where it started, it would be zero, which I guess would have to be where it came back to the station house. And then is kinetic energy ever zero? And depending on how we look at it, kinetic energy could be considered to never have been zero, because it never really stopped moving, because if we consider it stopped moving, it's not during the ride itself, it would be before or after it. So back in the station house, yeah, it's zero, but otherwise it never stops during the rest of the motion. So during that entire motion, potential and kinetic energies are exchanging back and forth, but the total amount of energy doesn't change during that, assuming it's an isolated system. And the last thing we're going to do here is just real quick. This is the Mr. Freeze at Six Flags, and this also is found at other Six Flags properties. You know that if you've ridden this, you start out inside this building, which is not as high as the highest point, but instead you are given kinetic energy by a series of electric motors that shoot you out and up over this hill through a loop over here, and then take you up on this tower, which then drops you back down. But if you've ridden it, you know that when you get up here on this tower, you can actually feel it pull you up because there are additional electric motors up here on this tower. If they didn't have that, because of friction, you might not be able to make it back down into the house. And if you like, I put a video there also of somebody riding the Six Flags St. Louis Mr. Freeze, so you can see that just as a reminder of how that works.